Good morning, people. Let's talk. It's about 11:30 on the 7th day of March, 2024. Hello, I am Scott. We're going to talk about Haiti. We're going to talk about Ariel Henry and why Barbecue Biden is in the process of regime changing yet another country this close to an election. Oh, it's bad. It's really, really bad. And afterward, I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible. Afterward, I have I have an announcement to make, kind of, just personal stuff. I'm going to save that for the end there, in case you don't care and you just want to see what's going on with Barbecue Biden. And yeah, that's a direct reference, and I'm making a point with that. Hi, how you doing? Prime Minister Ariel Henry landed in Puerto Rico. He couldn't come back to the airport because, of course, Barbecue, our terrorist, our fucking thug, our quote-unquote gang leader of the G9, who promises to get in bed with Satan to regime change Haiti, attacked the fucking airport. And he also attacked the central bank. He also attacked the banks. He also attacked police stations, post offices, setting people on fire, killing people, shooting people, rounding politicians up, who would, by the way, be the ones running for office in the next election, and executing them. He has demanded that there will be no election. He has demanded that the Kenyan peacekeepers not come into the country. And he has just recently busted into a bunch of prisons and set loose 5,000 of the worst fucking rapists, murderers, criminals Haiti had locked up, still had locked up. The ones that weren't, by the way, working for him already. This, by the way, point for point, point for point, step for step, is the CIA destabilization campaign. Without any doubt. There's no doubt about it. It's a CIA destabilization campaign. I'm not going to mince words. I ask a question in the title of this video. I'm going to tell you the answer right off the bat. I'm not going to make you wait until the end. It wasn't clickbait. Why is Barbecue Biden regime changing Haiti? And the answer is because Prime Minister Ariel Henry was in Kenya finalizing the agreement for 1,000 soldiers to come to Haiti and to safeguard the election process. That Barbecue, the gang leader, our gang leader, has been forcing them to postpone for 2 years now because he doesn't want there to be an election. He wants to take over and be the next Papa Dr. Valier. And remarkably enough, there are tons of alternative media lefties out there who seem to be on board with that proposition. Installing yet another Papa Dr. Valier, brutal dictator, murderer. In terms of this Barbecue guy, we'll get to him in a few seconds. By the way, folks will tell you that Barbecue himself in an interview laughed about the nickname Barbecue and said it came from the fact that his mother used to be a vendor on the streets selling fried chicken. Since when do you fry chicken on a barbecue? That's not where it comes from. It comes from him burning people alive back when he was basically a member of the what used to be called the Tonton Macoute in fucking Haiti. And then they had to change the name because it had such a bad reputation. In 2019, it was It was a federal police force, death squads, basically. Anybody who opposed what we were doing in fucking Haiti, they paid a visit to them. And in many cases, this guy, BBQ, would set them on fire and watch them burn alive. And that's where he got the name barbecue. People don't associate fried chicken with barbecues. That's not why his name is barbecue. 2019, I believe, he was involved in a mass murder of 70 people, including women, including children, in Haiti. He claimed he wasn't involved in it, but of course the police, the death squad that he was working with, was clearly involved in it. And he was missing in action for about a week and a half after that. So whatever the fuck he was doing, even his own fucking death squad bosses were concerned about him because he was just, even for them, he was too far over the top. Which is what's propelled him to where he is today. He is just a brutal, rancid fucking murderer. And of course, the CIA and the USAID and DIA and NED and all of these things support him 100%. If you had to make a comparison, there's a guy in Libya doing the same exact job. Why? Because as soon as that election takes place in Libya, there's a guy by the name of Gaddafi, Muammar Gaddafi's son, who will win it. Therefore, we have a guy by the name of General Haftar, who is leading a quote-unquote rebellion against the evil fucking regime. Again, they try to paint it as that regime is supported by the United States, which of course it's not. But that's how they try to paint it. That's how they try to paint Prime Minister Ariel fucking Henry. And I'll explain all of this to you in a few seconds. And he's not. In fact, it was a couple years ago that Ariel Henry was getting too close to the Russians and the Chinese. The Russians even offered to send in troops to serve as UN peacekeepers. And after visiting Kenya and going someplace else, in order to make an announcement that there's going to be an election this year with the help of these Kenyan peacekeepers he had just signed on the dotted line with, where he went was kind of nebulous. I believe that it's going to come out that he had gone and talked to and met with somebody from Russia in a different state, and they had made arrangements so that the Kenyan peacekeepers would also be backed up by perhaps Russian peacekeepers. Now, either Russian regular army peacekeepers or private army, private military, to come in and help facilitate a free and fair election. Now, in Libya, we can't allow a Gaddafi to take power in Libya. Not after Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton's regime change operation. Not after we put our fucking business interests in there and our oil interests in there and they're fucking milking the goddamn money and taking all the money that the people that should belong to the people of fucking Libya. We can't have a Gaddafi go back into Libya and do a redux on the fucking Green Revolution, which is exactly what he will do. By the same token, we can't have another fucking prime minister rise from the fucking from the ashes or from out of nowhere in fucking Haiti and take power in fucking Haiti. Because Hillary Clinton and a bunch of people have a huge investment in various properties there, including various free trade fucking zones and industrial zones that will certainly, if it falls into the wrong hands, they will be nationalized and then handed back over to the fucking people. They will raise the minimum wage. They will do all sorts of things. And companies like Haynes and others that are making, stellar profits down there with 31 cents an hour fucking wages, they'll be forced to either shut down or pay people a living wage in Haiti. a decent wage in Haiti. We can't have that. Can't have that. Not under Biden's fucking watch. Not under Biden's watch. People, and this ties into what else I got to talk about later, but people have a hard time on this. I watched fucking a clip from Rachel Maddow from last night. I watched it this morning after I'd done the research for this and was just sitting in there getting ready. And Rachel and the whole crew, Joy Reid and all the fucking other fake fucking corporate mainstream media lefties, they're all fucking worried and pissed off about fucking the Supreme Court and this, that, and the other thing. But they were talking about the election, the redo from 2020 between fucking Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And one of them actually said something that was there. They were all upset because, oh my God, Donald Trump's going to come into office, and oh my God, he's going to privatize this. He's going to deregulate that. They're talking about neoliberalism and how bad it is for a country. However, they never talk about that in terms of what their own fucking side does. The neoliberalism, their own side does. But one of them, I was shocked. One of them said, but Joe Biden has kind of brought it on himself. And the rest of them, there were like 6 of them. And they're like, where's she going with this? And she goes, yeah, Donald Trump was doing all this stuff and privatizing Department of Education and opening all these loopholes up so they could fucking, make an end around fucking regulation to screw the consumers over and screw people over. She goes, and Joe Biden promised in his election he's going to close all those loopholes. Remember that? And they're like, yeah. And she goes, she sucked him right in. She goes, and he didn't close one. And then the cackling, let's talk about other things. Let's talk about my shoes. Let's talk about whatever. They couldn't stand. He goes, no, we got to talk about something else. Because you could practically hear the producer in their fucking earpieces go, move on. And she's right. And the reason she's right is because it's all one fucking party. They can't have, why is it that the fake alt-left backs BBQ, what's his fucking name, Chazier, whatever the fuck his name is. Why the fuck is that? Because he's ours. And I don't mean ours by U.S., I mean ours by the left. That's why they supported fucking Haftar. Because he was being supported by Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. And empowered by them. And now Joe Biden. The same thing's happening with that. They can't have... Listen, he's already called Genocide Joe. And though he won 80% of the votes, they have to tell you on the Democrat side of Super Tuesday, turnout was like 30% of what it could have been. 30%. A lot of people, and I advocated going there and voting uncommitted. And a lot of them did. A lot of people did. And good for you. But I think the vast majority of people on Super Tuesday, on the Democratic side, said, fuck it, not going. Yeah, he got 80% of the vote, but the vote was only 30% of the Democrats who were eligible to come out and vote over the floor. I think 30 or 35%, somewhere in that area, across the whole board on Super Tuesday. So who really won? Joe Biden or the no-shows? If you ask me, I'm doing the math. The no-shows did that, won that by a fucking landslide. And if you want to add them to the uncommitted, and if you want to claim the no-shows were uncommitted because they weren't fucking committed enough to show up, then uncommitted won by a fucking vast majority. Part of that's because of Genocide Joe. Because of what he's fucking supporting in Israel. By the way, Donald Trump will be worse. Donald Trump will be worse. I know Sheldon Adelson's not going to put $100 million into Donald Trump's fucking coffers this time around because Sheldon Adelson is dead, I believe. But he's still going to be worse because he's still a sycophant. to Israel and Zionists in particular. Not so much Israel, Zionists. Please excuse me. He'll be worse. But right now it belongs to Joe Biden. And rightly so, obviously. So he's called Genocide Joe. They're going to call him Genocide Joe Barbecue Biden. Because he's also in support of this fucking homicidal piece of shit in Haiti. Who, by the way, is doing the exact same thing in Haiti that our other CIA asset named Haftar, General Haftar, is doing in fucking Libya. It's the same fucking thing. It's the CIA playbook. Hey, okay, now what do? We did this, we did that, we disrupted this, we did that. Well, I don't know. Let's ask the fucking CIA guy. Well, you could set loose the rapists and the murderers from the fucking prisons. Why the fuck would we do that? Chaos. Plus, you set loose the murderers and the rapists from prison, then you and your death squads can get away with doing anything you want because all you got to do is blame the murderers and the rapists. It's CIA playbook. 100%. So you have to ask yourself, what is it that Prime Minister Ariel Henry did to facilitate this removal? This, hands off. They've used him in the past, Barbecue and the G9 fucking terrorists, proxy army in Haiti, to forestall the elections because they know someone can rise in Haiti. Listen, we'll talk about this too. The one before the previous, well, the prime minister who was prime minister before the interim prime minister, put it that way. Jovial, what's his name? Jovial Moise. He was murdered July 7th, 2021. He was murdered by some foreign fucking mercenaries who came in and fucking did him in. Supposedly, we had the patsies set up for that. Supposedly Colombians. The FBI, while his body was still warm, and his wife was getting treatment, just started getting treatment for her gunshot wound, the FBI rushed in there as fast as they could. They came screeching to a halt with their fucking with the Helix fucking Toyota fucking pickup trucks. They leapt out with guys with guns. They ran in and ripped all the cameras off the fucking property where the murder took place, his presidential palace. They ripped all the fucking security cameras down so you couldn't see where the security cameras were once and say, hey, where was a video from this? That'd be a good fucking shot. They pulled all those cameras down. And then they snatched up the closed circuit television system, the computer. It was an all-in-one computer, big old Apple thing, that recorded all the security camera footage. And they ran off to the fucking Helix Toyota trucks. And they jumped in and they squealed the fuck out of there. They literally stole the fucking evidence of who actually fucking did it. And they ran off, said, it's a investigation. That's the FBI. The glorious FBI did that. Why? Because if you'd seen the footage, you'd realize it wasn't the patsies that we said it was. It was probably mercs, our mercs. Or the presidential guard themselves. Or a faction they're in. Who were promised a good living if they went along to get along. So we had him killed. Why? July 7th, 2021, we had him killed. Less than 10 days later, the very first shipment of fucking COVID-19 jabs arrives into the country. And then 2 weeks after that, they implement the very first COVID-19 fucking mass fucking experiment, mRNA experiment, experimental jabs in Haiti. That's why. That's why he had to go. Now, I'll show you an article from Reuters that said, you're crazy talking about the 5 fucking leaders of countries who were killed, and then right afterwards, somebody who took his place, or their places, implemented COVID-19 jab experiments. And Reuters will tell you you're a nutbag if you think people are being killed because they're not exposing their population to the fucking mRNA jab experiments. You believe Reuters? I don't. We got rid of him. He was in the way. And there was the interim guy who was the one we installed. And everyone says, oh, this Ariel Henry is our guy. So that's why the left can go, oh, well, I'll go with the barbecue dude who gets the name from setting people on fire, the new Tom McCoo guy. I'll go with him because Joe Biden supports fucking Ariel Henry. Joe Biden's administration said Ariel Henry's got to fucking go. So what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking? You have to be. My next. I'm going to talk about my personal shit in a few minutes, and this is going to tie into that as well. You have to be fucking a special kind of stupid not to see what's happening in fucking Haiti. You have to be a special kind of stupid not to understand it, because it is as clear as fucking day. It is clear as a beautiful blue sky in Haiti. It really fucking is. It is obvious. We have fucking Haiti under our thumb, and we don't want something like a fucking election to fuck that up. So what we need is a strongman. We need Tom McCoot. We need Papa Dr. Valier, and barbecue it fits the bill perfectly. He is our guy. Now, I mentioned before, the Biden administration and the Clintons and the fucking left, I have to say, to be honest, and certainly not pandering to anybody, but I have to say they have got to be some of either the most racist or the dumbest motherfuckers out there, including Amy Goodman, who's also right now supporting this idea of fucking Tom McCoot barbecue fucking becoming the dictator for life in Haiti. It's just fucking bizarre. And I guarantee you, Jimmy Dore's on the wrong side of this as well. I ain't even got to look to tell you Jimmy Dore's on the wrong side of this. He's on the wrong side of everything until the individual gets established, like AOC, like, the entire fucking squad, like he tried to do with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., like he tried to do with Bernie Sanders. He's always on the wrong side of everything until he's not. He's Captain Hindsight. So Captain Hindsight's, I guarantee you, on the wrong side of this. But they must be either dumb or just fucking stupid or racist. It's got to be that. They thought when they brought in those 500,000 free fucking jabs from Moderna and Pfizer, not vaccines, experimental fucking mRNA treatments. When they brought those in and they dumped those in after killing their fucking prime minister and making off with the evidence, they thought that, okay, this is great. We've got 11 million people. And I'm sure the folks at Pfizer and Gavi and the Gates Foundation said we got 11 million black people, so no one really cares, because that's what they've done their whole fucking careers. The trouble was they got rid of the fucking person who was blocking them bringing that shit in, the prime minister. They put in a fucking interim guy who was their man, who was solid, like fucking Joe Biden likes to say. And then turns out what? The Haitian people aren't that fucking stupid. They, to this day, and they've had all kinds of people come and dump shit over there. And take these. Please give them to those black people. We need to see what this shit does. That's literally what they fucking do. Thinking the dumb black people will go along. Oh, we can get the jabs now. To this day, Haiti has of all nations, Haiti has the lowest uptake in fucking COVID-19 jabs. The lowest of every fucking country. God bless them. God bless them. Fucking Bill Gates, Joe Biden, Fauci, all these motherfuckers in the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, they all thought, just as soon as they put those things out there, those shiny trinkets out there, these black people run up and grab them and stick them in their baby's arms. Nope. Fuck you. Kiss my ass. I'll sit there and rot on the goddamn dock. That's what they fucking did. They sat there and rotted on the goddamn dock. Didn't give a fuck. 1.1% uptake. And not 1.1% are fully updated. 1.1% got even one goddamn dose. And the ones that are fully up, the percentage that are fully updated with the jabs, you need a calculator to figure out a percentage that low. God bless the fucking Haitians. They said, fuck you. To give you an idea, and this is all under Joe Biden. This is 2021. He was in office. He killed the fucking president of Haiti on behalf of fucking Pfizer's fucking experiments and Moderna's experiments and the Defense Threat Reduction Agency's experiments. He did that 5 months, 6 months, 6 months into his presidency in 2021. That's what Joe Biden did. And now he's running around looking at black folks in America thinking it's the black folks that'll keep me in office. You know what he did? He said, okay, what can we do to fucking, to get the black folks on our side? Well, you know what? Joe could go and sit down and have dinner with them. Oh, okay. These are the DEI fucking supporting people who make up his fucking cabinet, who make up his influencers, his closest advisors. Okay, that's a great idea. What should we do? We'll just go to their house. We'll get somebody and we'll go to their house. Okay, that's awesome. We'll bring them something. Yeah, okay, cool. What do black people eat? Fried chicken? Yeah! Okay, what else do they like? Cantaloupes? No, there's something else. Watermelon! So they had Joe Biden show up at someone's house with fucking bags of fried chicken. Black people's houses with bags of fried chicken. That's what diversity, equity, and inclusion gets you. A bunch of stupid, racist, college-educated, undereducated idiots who, and unless they were trying to make Joe Biden unelectable, which is always possible, because they might want fucking Trump to win, but unless they were trying their best to make Joe Biden hated by black folks, I can't even say it without it's just so cringe. I just can't imagine. I live in a majority black fucking neighborhood. I said, hey, I'm going to come over and bring you something to eat. Okay, that's great. Let's go. And I show up with fried chicken. Oh, dear God. Oh, my God. Anyway. All this stuff I'm talking to you about is here in this article titled, Why is Prime Minister Ariel Henry being removed from office by Barbecue Biden and his CIA puppets in Haiti? Go and read this. Everything I just told you is supported by this. Everything in this, here's Russia and China. Pentagon leaked docs show Russia and China's reach in Latin America and the Caribbean. And when was that? It was a year ago. It's less than a year ago. April 2023. That's from the New York Times. There's a bunch of shit here you can look at. Here is Chris Hedges, Dan Cohen, and Kim Ives left-washing CIA asset and brutal thug Jimmy Barbecue Cherzier with a puff piece documentary back in the day. And I think that was 2021, 2022. They posed him next to a fucking graffiti of Che Guevara. They posed him there to make the fucking left accept him, I guess. There's a bunch of stuff here you can look at. You look at, here's Democracy Now! Pushing this fucking barbecue shit. The true meaning of his name is also in here. There's a quote in here for that. Here's a thing on Haftar. You can go and look at that. Suddenly, I'm not feeling so good, so I'm going to have to wrap this up. I was going to read all this to you, but I'm not going to. You can stop the video, or you can go and look at it on the website yourself. The guy is a fucking. The guy is a his Jovenel Moise, killed July 7th, 2021. And NPR reported 1 week after Haiti's president was assassinated, the country's first shipment of COVID-19 vaccines finally arrived. And his word is saying there's no evidence of a casual link between vaccines and the death of President Moise or the other 4 leaders who were killed for not opening up their fucking doors to the jabs. Lots of stuff there for you. I wish I felt better, but I don't. And now I really don't feel good. Which means I'm probably going to have to hold off on the rest of what I had to say to you. God damn it. It's in fucking manual. Stop that shit. Basically, so that's the situation. They can't have another regime change in the lead up to another lefty regime change like Syria, like fucking Libya, like fucking Yemen. They can't have another lefty regime change to support big business right before the fucking election when Biden is already being called fucking Genocide Joe. They can't have it. So, of course, they're going to do everything they can to make it seem like Ariel's a bad guy. Ariel wasn't a fucking good guy, but he wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't put in place by Biden. Biden administration put their president in place, who was currently president there to take over. But then this core group was founded with people from all kinds of westernized countries. And they put together a group of fucking people, and the group of people decided, okay, we're going to have this guy take over. This guy's a surgeon. Ariel's a surgeon. He was also, by the way, on Moise's fucking 17-member panel deciding what we should do in terms of the COVID-19 fucking vaccines and how to fight COVID-19. He was on the panel that helped Moise decide they didn't want to take the fucking jabs. He's an actual fucking surgeon. But you know, careful of the fucking media because they will have you loving the goddamn perpetrators and hating the fucking victims. And that's exactly what's going to fucking happen here. That's what they did with fucking Muammar Gaddafi. That's what they tried to do with fucking the guy from fucking Libya. No, Syria. God damn it. Bashar al-Assad. I don't know what's wrong with me. That's what they're doing. It's that simple. It's that fucking simple, and it's just as simple and obvious as Haftar in Libya. It's the same game plan. We can't allow the people in another fucking country, in our backyard, in our hemisphere, to quote unquote vote the wrong way. And if you can't force them to vote the right way, if you can't use electronic voting machines to make it so it doesn't matter which way they vote anyway, then the next option is don't let them vote at all. And that's what they're doing with Haftar in fucking Libya, and that's what they're doing with BBQ and have been doing with BBQ all along. Okay? BBQ's a fucking monster. He didn't get his nickname because his mother sold fried chicken. That's my barbecue Biden is two-part fucking joke. It's association with this fucking Tom McCoot guy, and it's also the fact that he brought fried chicken to his black family's house. It's obvious. It's obvious. Ariel went and was organizing for the Kenyan fucking delegation, 1,000 fucking army soldiers to come in with the blue helmets. And I believe, it's just my belief, that I believe he was also in communication with the Russians to help them so that they could, in fact, stave off BBQ, who wants nothing more and has wanted nothing more than to stop the elections and will use death and murder to do so, to stave off BBQ from stopping that so that the Haitians could hold an election. And now here we are on the quote-unquote alt-left, and I'm seeing assholes fucking praising BBQ and demonizing this Ariel Henry guy. Now, that said, I feel a little better, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm not going to be posting with much regularity, the same regularity that I have been. I'm going to go into a different phase. I've been doing this shit it'll be 20 years, one way or the other in a year. So it's 19 years. It won't be 20, it's 19 years. Had my own thing since 2007. I've been up and I've been down, and I've had all kinds of fucking shit happening. I've been sued. I've been approached. I've had channels deleted. I've had my WordPress website with over 11,000 fucking articles that I wrote deleted by WordPress. Of course, I've been sued into silence. And I'm still here. But I'm still here just kind of on the peripheral, you know. A long time ago, when I had, it wasn't that long, it was 2018, they deleted it. American Everyman, you know, I was getting a little over 1 million views a year. It's not a whole lot, but that's good for a bullshit little freebie blog. And I'd invested in AmericanEveryman.com as opposed to WillieLoman.wordpress.com, and it was doing all right. Then they deleted it overnight. What I miss from that, and even, you know, my YouTube channel that had 3,400 subscribers at one time, what I miss from those days is the interaction. And that's not, I'm not being, I'm not, I've never placated anybody, certainly, which is part of my problem. But I did. I mean, I was talking to Aunt BB yesterday, and I have an archive that my mother, before she passed, made of my writing back in the days. And a good part of it, 65% of the stuff that I wrote, she archived. Some of them, she copied, you know, the whole fucking comment section. So these are long fucking Microsoft Word files. And I can go and look at them. I remember one had over 1,000 comments. We're talking about a lot of people having a lot of discussions within the comment section, some overlapping each other. You know how that works. And I remember thinking when that happened, I noticed there was someone told me there's 1,000 comments on one of my things. And I was like, wow. So I went and looked at it. I didn't really participate a great deal in the comment sections then, and I don't now. There's a reason I put my opinion in there, in the video or the article. And hopefully it'll start discussion. Sometimes I would, and I would learn a lot. And I would read a lot and learn a lot from you guys. But that's gone now. It doesn't exist. There's nothing even close to it. Nothing. I thought that by redoing the office and getting that fucking pink walls out of there and the bullshit and buying the furniture and then, upgrading to this, I thought somehow that I would maybe start to rekindle that. But no. And in fact, since doing all this, my numbers have gone down, not up, and the engagement reader to reader, viewer to viewer has also gone down. Everything has gone down. Support with Patreon has gone down. The people who communicate with me via email has gone down. It's just gone. If you do something like this, and this is a hard lesson to learn, and it's a hard thing to admit to yourself, but if you do something like this, that's been bothering me. It's still wanky. If you do something like this for these many, many years, and you are getting less engagement and less views on what you do than if someone like fucking Cyrax or DSP or Boogie or fucking, then the average locale, then something's wrong. You're not marketing yourself, and you're not targeting the specific audience that you want. And I get that because I have never ever done that. This is my fault. It's 100% my fault because I did not, like some fucking people on the left, as soon as Donald Trump was elected, they jumped to the fucking Trump train. I'll give you an example, fucking Sticks Hexenhammer 666 or Sticks and Tranny 5.55 inches. Like him, like so many others, like Jimmy Dore is doing now, like fucking Max Blumenthal is doing. You jump to what's hot, and you shit on the rest, and you poke fun at the rest. And I never did that. I always called him like I saw him. In 2000, the article that I wrote here, let me show you something real quick. Article I wrote in 2014, by the way, was still under the auspices of the Haiti. Yeah, here you go. Here's a video of that. There's a video. You can look at that. Haitian police refused to release the CCTV footage from Moses' home. I covered all this shit. But there's that. Clintons and celebs celebrate the new slavery in Haiti. Welcome back to the days of the Tonton Macoute. That was 2012. It was October 2012. That was right before the fucking re-election of the great one, the greatest man of our generation, I was told. By a former fucking college professor whom I had a great deal of respect for. The greatest man of our generation. This is what I was publishing. In October, right before the fucking re-election of Barack, oh my God, Obama. Obama God. And it's not fucking shocking or unique for me because I was doing that in 2008 before he was elected in the first goddamn place. I told people he is not as built, and you will regret voting for him. And so, of course, I always limit my fucking audience. People on the right, because of my takes on fucking the vaccines, because my takes on fucking electronic voting machines, because my takes on fucking Joe Biden and Clinton and Barack Obama started to fucking gravitate toward me because I was being published in places like InfoWars. And I lost their support too, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that libertarian neoliberals is the right way to go. That big business, we should let the invisible hand of big business do everything and privatize the whole goddamn government. That's fucking retarded. Pardon my language, but it is. So, but still, even when I was doing all that, for the longest time, my numbers were increasing and the engagement, and people were having conversations and discussing things, because I believe there's a true middle ground folk like myself out there. That's the true silent majority. Well, I think we are. But we don't turn out anymore. And I guess kind of like what happened with Joe Biden and his 35% turnout. I guess I should fucking finally, after all these years, read the writing on the wall. I've sacrificed a lot to do this, and I've learned a lot, and I've gained a lot from you guys, and I've garnered a lot in return. I would not be here if it not for this. I don't know where I would be. I'm disabled. There are things that I used to be able to do and was very good at them, and I can't do anymore. And I am now 57 years old, and fewer and fewer and fewer companies would take the time to train me. Because quite frankly, and the fact that I have a blood clotting disorder and COPD and had a heart attack, they wouldn't see a fucking future in training someone like myself. So I don't know what I will do. I don't know where I would be were it not for some of you, and certainly specifically two of you. I would not be here. However, it is unfair for me to expect two individuals to have to float the bill, so to speak, for me being able to do what I do. And so, what I'm saying is, I started this thing off writing while I was working on I had my own business doing drafting and design work. And so I would do my work, and then I would sit down and write and do research, and that would be that. But I didn't write every day at first. And when I got sick, then I kind of jumped into it with both feet, so to speak. And I had a lot more time. That way I felt like I was contributing and I was doing something. It was a way to reach out and to communicate with you guys, to communicate with people in the comment section, through emails and all sorts of other ways of doing it. Phone calls, interviews. None of that's happening now. None of it's happening now. So, I'm not too fucking old. I am sick. I am disabled. But I will try to find a way to get over that and beyond that and start some semblance of a fucking life 15 years later. But in order to do that, I cannot wake up every morning drink my coffee, walk the dog, sit down, start doing research at 5 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning every morning for 3 hours, 4 hours, and then start posting stuff up here and then do videos. I can't do that anymore. I could do it, but I'm not going to do it anymore. Some business person, I'll cite a business person for you guys on the right before I leave. Some business person once said, well, the best way, I think it was, who fucking cares? They're all the same. The best way to fucking make sure your business is good is you learn and you take a look and see what works and what doesn't. You double down on what works and you drop what doesn't. No one can look at how I live and tell me that the past 15 years works. No one. Honestly. If they don't give a shit. I mean, if they just, care about, okay, well, there's one good, decent source of information we have out there, and that's it. Only a few people know about it, but that's fine. But if they look at my life and what my life has become, nobody can tell me that. Nobody with a straight face could tell me that. So, and that's entirely 100% on me. So, will I make another video this week? What is it, Thursday? Probably not, unless some of these things that I'm doing pan out quickly. And will I put a few things up on my website like I've been doing, like a news aggregator site on Gaza? Probably, just out of habit. But I don't know what's going to happen with all this. I don't even know, to be honest with you, what this room's going to look like in a week or 10 days, to be honest with you. I might just do occasionally, once every 2 or 3 weeks, a voiceover video where I start editing stuff and put stuff together and do a voiceover every now and then. It's just not. It's just not working. And if I want to have any kind of life, then I have to make that choice. And that's what I'm going to fucking do. And I have no regrets. And I thank everybody for all their support over the years. I do. Because again, without you guys, I wouldn't have this much. Or maybe I'd have more. But I guess it's kind of playing it safe to sit here and just continue doing this and expecting, 1 or 2 or 3 fucking people to keep me afloat. And I can't do that anymore. I can't do that and keep looking at myself in the fucking mirror, so I'm not going to. So, I miss you all. And I have been missing you all for years. But it's time for me to do something else. And I thank you for your time.